Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Hello there, Stanley Carr here. You know, I love collecting music and sports memorabilia. Want to know where you can find some? I'll tell you. Go to oldglory.com. This website features one-of-a-kind apparel from your favorite sports teams and musical artists. And I can help you get 15% off of all items. Use the code WWH135. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. Before I introduce my guest today, I want to take this time to promote our brand new book, which you can see right here. It is Champions for a Cause, Volume 1. It is a collection of interviews with some of your favorite professional wrestling stars. I'm talking about Mark Mero, Tito Santana, Buff Bagwell, Jake the Snake Roberts, and so many others. You can get your copy now on Amazon.com. It is available as a paperback for $15. With me right now, I've got a very special guest. She is a rising star in the world of professional wrestling. Tearing it up on the independent scene, has appeared in TNA, has done extra work for numerous different companies. I am talking with the one and only Vicious Vicki Venuto. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart.
Thank you so much. Great introduction.
I appreciate that. So were you always a big wrestling fan growing up?
Yeah, so growing up, you know, my sisters were really into it. We're talking like Attitude Era, 96, 97, you know, the golden age. And I just fell in love with it. I was 4 years old and I just saw these larger than life characters and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And then, yeah, so I've been pretty much obsessed since I was a kid.
That's kind of in line when I started watching too, like around that 4 to 5 year old age range. This was kind of, for me, it was like about 2000.
Okay.
Right around The Rock kind of taking over from Steve Austin when he was hurt at the time. So kind of hooked ever since. It was really a big boom period. Did you grow up collecting all the dolls, figures, toys, video games?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still have a lot of stuff that I kept. I was a big Hardy Boy and Lita fan, still am. So from 6 years old to now, I'm still getting like multiple copies of like magazines I already have and the dolls. And I have more Matt Hardy than anything because he had a lot of figures made. But yeah, big Hardy and Lita fan. So I had like everything that you could possibly have merch-wise from them.
And they were such a draw, too, with the tag division. And I think it just added something new and fresh that I feel like a lot of people hadn't really seen before because you had these two high-flying guys and this girl that did a lot of high-flying maneuvers as well, mixed it up with men. You didn't really see a lot of that back then either. It was you had your intergender matches, but this was someone that I feel like just took it to a whole new level.
Oh, yeah. Aside from China, of course, But she 1,000%, and as a young girl growing up and you see this like beautiful redhead just doing all these crazy things, and she beat to her own drum and she was like a punk rocker, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. And I was just like, I want to be like her when I grow up.
Have you gotten the chance to meet the Hardys or Lita?
Oh yeah. So Lita multiple times. She knows me by name. She may or not have shouted me out in a most recent interview she did, which was so cool. And the Hardys, very, very, very. I see them all the time. Really cool, great relationship with Matt specifically. I love both of them equally, but I was always a Matt Hardy chick. So it's very cool, to have a relationship with them and share locker rooms with them. And it's what else could I ask for? It's a dream come true.
So did you know at 4 years old that going into the wrestling business was something you wanted to pursue? Did you always want to be in the wrestling business?
I did. And being a young little kid, you don't know any better. But I always make the joke, it's true, but from when I was in preschool till senior year of high school, what do you want to be when you grow up? That was always the question, right? And it was always a pro wrestler. So I never wavered, it never changed. And I finally made it a reality.
At what age did you start going to schools? Talk to me about the training process, because it is a hard business to get into, as we all know, and you really have to sacrifice so much, and it takes a lot out on your body, and something you really have to condition your body to get used to. Talk to me about what the training experience was like when you started out.
Yeah, so believe it or not, when I was like 10 through 13, I would go to indie shows. And a lot of the guys that are on the indies, specifically in the Northeast, some had made it to WWE. I watched growing up as a kid. There was a local company called IWF at the time in West Patterson, I believe, in New Jersey. And I had gone to these shows and they had youth clinics. So I had gotten my first taste of being in a ring and learning, the way and how to bump and do all these things at like 12. And then, I went through high school. I was an athlete. I could have went to any college I wanted, but I wanted to be a wrestler. Should have known better. And I had a little bit of a rough patch, in my adolescent, younger adult years. Got myself together, and I knew that if I didn't pursue wrestling, I would have regretted it for the rest of my life because it's all I wanted. So in 2018, I finally, made the decision. I all the guys that I watched growing up were still a part of my life in some way. So I reached out to them. What's the best school? I'm ready to do this finally. And then, the rest is history.
So you get in, you start hitting the ropes, taking the bumps. Any pieces of advice that your trainers gave you early on that you've applied to today when you first started out? Because you're constantly in there and you're working up a sweat. You're constantly doing these drills. Repetition is something that I feel like needs to be said here, because you get it after you do it so many times. But what were some things, any life advice you got from your trainers that still sticks with you today?
Yeah, a lot of my trainers were very like hard hitting, old school. I came from Creative Pro New Jersey, and that was Pat Buck. But shortly after I started training, he was very technical and hands on, very smart. But he had gotten some opportunities to be a producer in WWE. So his assistant trainer, so to speak, Sean Donovan, Danny Moff, also known as Senta Slaughter. It's the name speaks for itself. Very old school, Mario Baccara. These guys are very old school, and they knew that I was tough. They knew that they could coach me. They knew that I would take constructive criticism. So the training that they, may have thrown or pursued on me was different from other students because they knew I could take it. So, I was very like, get down in the dirt, like, don't give up, like keep bumping, keep running the ropes, keep doing this. Like, so when I used to go to training, like, I would go like 6, 7, 8 times because no one else wanted to get in the ring. And I'm just like, well, I'm here to be a wrestler and learn. So if you guys don't want to go, I'm going, to do the drills. So, it was tough love and really great training. And it definitely made me the strong wrestler I am today.
How many kids were in the class? Because sometimes, like, you'll have these classes in these schools where mostly you're training with guys, but there's also classes where there's mixed men and women.
Yeah. So there was a lot. There was almost like 30 or plus in our class. It was a lot. So it was a lot to get into that 3-hour time period of training. But we had maybe like a handful of girls, 3, 4. Some of them fell off. Some of them went elsewhere. And then the world shut down and things just went crazy. So, but it was a good class. The class that I trained with was really good. And I would say about half of them, you know, maybe more than half have not continued the career, and a handful of us did. So, and we're very close today still. So that's cool.
When you're constantly working on your craft and trying to get things down, it can be hard at times, I am sure, because you're sacrificing a lot of your time into doing this. Did you ever get like fatigued or tired to the point where there were times where you considered not going through with it? Were there times did you feel that you considered not going forward with your dream? And what were some motivational tools for you to continue to keep going even when things got hard?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it happens more often than not. I think any wrestler can speak on this, that it just happens a lot. Like you said, you're on the road constantly. My first 3 or 4 years, I was like triple shotting, like Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania in the same day. I had 6 belts at one point, low tier indie, but I'm driving, I'm in the car, I'm up and down all over the place. And the first 4 years I did that, I loved it. And then I started getting a little older. My body started getting beat up a little more. I saw sides to the business that I didn't want to see, where people were just kind of shady, so to speak. So yeah, there were times where I'm just like, hey, I've been doing this 8 years, like I'm tired. But then, like, as soon as, and we always make this joke, as soon as you have like half a foot out the door, not even like half your body, half a foot out the door, something comes up or an opportunity presents itself, and it's just almost that, it sucks you back in, and then you just go around and around again. So it's a circus, but we love it.
You've had the opportunity to mix it up with some of the people in several different companies. Most recently, you've had the opportunity to wrestle for TNA. How did that experience come about?
Yeah, so shout out to Tommy Dreamer before his departure. I had a great relationship with him. He had given me several opportunities within the company. I do have, professional relationships with other people in the company as well. So hoping to continue that streak of TNA. I think I could speak for myself that, being one of 2 independent women wrestlers in the entire world who were picked to take part in this Knockouts TV title inaugural tournament is something. And I look at it like, I've done some stuff with them. I've been there multiple times. That was a huge deal. And whether I get signed out of it, whether I continue with the company, whether I retire tomorrow, I think that was pretty cool to hang my hat on and say that I did something like that with the company.
And you get exposure too. More people know who you are, more eyes are on you. And so it's just only up from here. You've had the opportunity to mix it up with several different talents over the course of your career so far. Who would you say are some people that you've enjoyed stepping in the ring with so far in your career?
Yeah, I absolutely loved working with Tessa Blanchard. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. She's just so good at what she does. She's so patient in the ring too.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
She's willing to teach you and also, work with you. She talks to you. Like, she's incredible, and I don't think she gets enough recognition or flowers for that, because, in this business, and, I'm sure we've all seen the dirty side of it. It's really important to have someone who genuinely wants to see you succeed and do better and lead you and really, really lead you as a veteran in the ring. And she did that. And we had hell of a match about 2 years ago or a year or two ago at the 2300 Arena. And it was deemed match of the night by Mike Johnson from Pro Wrestling Insider. So, I loved that. Indy Hartwell, too, I wrestled and worked with a few times. But yeah, I'd have to say Tessa is number one.
It's always a compliment to be able to have an award given out, a recognition given out for a match that you were involved in, especially from a big publication like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like big things are going to be coming up on the horizon. What would you say or future goals you may have or dream opponents you'd like to step in the ring with? It could be past or present. But what are some aspirations you may have for the future that you would like to do in the wrestling business?
Yeah, obviously, like my goal has always been I just want to put pen to paper somewhere. I want to say that before I retire or have a child or whatever the next step and phase of a woman's life is, I want to say that I put pen to paper. I want to sign a contract. Um, if that doesn't happen, which as I get older, I realize that is it's a possibility, not because I'm not good enough and I have to stop putting my hat on that. Like, just because I'm not doesn't mean I'm not good enough. It just sometimes just doesn't work out that way. But I've done some cool things. So I would like to continue doing the cool things. I would like to continue showing the world that, I'm not this flippy, crazy, wrestler and crazy that my favorites were flippy dudes. But, that's not me. But I can tell a story and I do have a story to tell. And I feel like I've been given that opportunity and I just really want more of that. So I'm hoping I get signed. If not, I would love to work in wrestling in some way. I couldn't imagine my life without wrestling. I think it would be really weird. So we'll see.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
We're a show that is very big on charities and causes and things in the community. What are some things that you've been able to help out with and have been able to make a difference with? Any things that you're very passionate about as far as causes are concerned?
Yeah. A lot of animal shelters, I did adopt all of my dogs. Two of them are with my parents because they fell in love with them. So they're my parents' dogs. So I pretty much adopted them for my parents. I got my other dog, Champ, that I have with my fiance. We adopted him. And I feel like I've done stuff in the past with like the Monmouth County shelter in New Jersey. A lot of stuff with cerebral palsy. We've done benefits. We've done fundraisers. I've donated a lot of time to there's like a food bank. So, and my fiance too works with Mania Club a lot. So he does a lot of auctions where I help him with that, where we can kind of auction off stuff to donate to them. Connor's Cure. So, there's a lot of things that behind the scenes that I do, me and him do that nobody really knows about because that's to us, I'm not doing it for clout. I do it just because, like, my whole life, I've always donated to St. Jude. And I just do it. I don't post about it. I just do it. So I think that's another thing that people need to realize is if you're, donating your time, the only reason why I'm talking about it now is because you asked me. It's all for a good cause and, so yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Mania Club too. That's a big group of people that are in the wrestling sphere that are doing amazing things.
Oh God, yes.
They're going out there making a difference. They're partnering with several different wrestlers for doing some incredible work in the community. Was there a particular function that you were involved in, fundraiser or benefit, that was very heartwarming for you? Any memories that you'd like to share from that experience?
Yeah, so we did like a food drive at one of my wrestling shows a couple years ago, and we had to like donate like a lot of food, but our time. So like we would go there, we would collect the bags from people who would come, and just kind of seeing like when the different parishes would kind of come through and collect, and just like how grateful they were. Like that was really awesome.
Wow, yeah, and the thing is like so many people can go without food at a time, and it's important to have that available for those people that are not able to go to the store,
For
not
sure.
able to afford certain things when shopping, and so having that kind of outlet available, it means so much to them, and you're out there paying it forward to those who need it the most.
Yeah, for sure.
What is it about giving back to the community that gives you the most joy?
I think just being able to know that like people feel like they're not alone because there are so many times in the world, no matter what somebody's going through, that they feel alone. They feel like nobody can relate to them, whether it's poverty, whether it's mental health, whatever it is. And I feel like people come to us, and I mean people who are like in a limelight, so to speak, and they think that we are these like untouchable heroes, but in reality, that's why I'm very open about my story, is I'm like, hey, like I'm this hero essentially, but I've been through stuff. I go through stuff. You're not alone when you feel this way because I feel this way. So I think relating to other people and letting them know that it's important. That's what prevents a lot of, you know, dark spirals that people can go through. I've gone through it myself.
If you can, would you be all right with elaborating a little bit on your story for those
Sure.
that haven't really heard it before?
Yeah. So, for me, I dealt with a lot of like abuse when I was a teenager, through just men, not anyone in my family. My family's great. It's just people outside of my family. And, I was 15, 16-year old. I kind of going to court and doing all these things. So that was kind of traumatizing. And then, at during high school, I always say I had a little pit stop with addiction. I didn't know when I was agreeing to do these things with people that I was going to become addicted and they weren't. And then I, went to treatment and got myself cleaned up and ever since I've been sober almost 11 years now. So, it's something to be
Congratulations.
proud of. Thank you. A flag to wave, the whole nine. But, during that time, there was a lot of ups and downs of mental health issues and anxiety and depression and just kind of navigating, a new norm, so to speak. I am in a good spot now. It took a long time. But, I've always been one to be open about my story because so many people find gratitude in me sharing it, but also seeing how far I've come from where I was. And it's just, I'm walking proof that you can do anything. So.
And you're out there paying it forward, speaking to the youth about what you went through so that they, hopefully, if they find themselves in a tough spot, you're giving them tips on how to get around some of the negative aspects of the world. So
Exactly.
you're,
Yes.
you're trying to make a difference for them as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, Vicki, I want to say thank you so much for coming on to Wrestling with Heart. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where can people find out more about you on social media? If you have anything that you want to plug, feel free.
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram. I'm probably most active on there. Vicious Vicki Venuto. And then on X as well. You could just type in Vicious Vicki Venuto.
You've had the opportunity of doing some women's seminars as well with Bailey. What was it like getting the chance to work with her, and any tips you got from her and participating in that whole event?
Yeah, so it was awesome. The first round I didn't get picked. I was a little bummed. I saw that John Cena was there, and then I had a fairy tale moment with him, which was awesome after that. But being invited to the second one and having that support system of women all over the world who just kind of come together for one cause, it's absolutely beautiful. Bailey has been devoting so much of her free time to us, and I mean, what more could you ask? Someone who's so accomplished as her being able to give back like that is awesome.
Yes. So I am so happy for what you're doing. I'm looking forward to seeing where things take off from here. Like you mentioned earlier, you've spent some time with TNA. Hopefully we see more of you on that show and that promotion in the future. And I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to meet you one day in person, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
It is my pleasure. And remember, you can get your copy now of Champions for a Cause Volume 1. It is available on Amazon.com as a paperback. It's got some really amazing stories in here from some of your favorite stars. I'm talking about Mark Marrow, Tito Santana, Jake the Snake Roberts, Buff Bagwell, and so many others. Get your copy now. I'm Stanley Carr, and I'll see you next time.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.
This episode is brought to you by Chat GPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about Chat GPT work? It's the new way to use Chat GPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give Chat GPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.